This is going to be a continuation of my series on the topic of the temperament of a pipe smoker. And I remind you that this is sort of a guess on my part. I think it's a relatively educated guess on the temperament of a typical pipe smoker. And of course people vary, and of course pipe smokers are people and we all vary. But I think it's probably relatively accurate, my guesstimation I've made. The last video I talked about the three areas that the temperament assessment gives us information on, and if you'll recall, those were inclusion, control, and affection. Inclusion is sort of asking whether or not we're an introvert or an extrovert. Do we like to be around large groups of people? Do we prefer to be alone? Somewhere in between, that kind of a deal. The second area was control, which is asking us how much control do we want to have over other people, and how much control are we willing to allow others to have over our lives. And to some degree, we all submit to control and authority in various areas of our lives, and it depends a lot on this, well, it depends entirely upon this part of the temperament. The last one was affection, and this deals with our relationships, but our deep and intimate relationships with our husbands, our wives, our children, parents, girlfriends, boyfriends, lovers, that kind of a thing. And that's the part of the affection that we are interested in. And we also talked a little bit about the various relationships that we have, relationships with others, relationships with our Creator, and of course the relationship that we have with ourselves. In the next few videos, and I think it'll probably take me a video a piece, but maybe not. Well, I'm kind of winging this and going by the seat of my pants. So I'm going to talk about the 5 different types of temperament. And the 5 different types of temperament, even though you could kind of say we have 9 different temperament types, because there's also a compulsive area, and compulsive is not in the same category as, say, obsessive compulsive or something like that. Compulsive just means that is the primary way that we are going to interpret life, how we're going to interact with life. And some people are just a little bit more prone to do it in a particular way, and we call those people compulsive. The 5 areas, or the 5 temperaments that I'm going to be talking about, are melancholy, choleric, sanguine, supine, and phlegmatic. And there's a melancholy compulsive, a choleric compulsive, sanguine compulsive, and supine compulsive. Phlegmatic, there is no compulsive, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to take each one of those individually and talk about the one that I think we primarily may fall into as pipe smokers, or at least I'll put it this way, the pipe smokers I seem to be meeting on YouTube. And also talk a little bit about why the YouTube community is so important to us because of that particular temperament. But today I'm going to begin with the sanguine and carry on from there and go through each one of these individually. Now about the sanguine. Sanguines are what I think we are not. They're one of the temperaments that I do not believe fit the typical pipe smoker. And here's why. First and foremost, sanguines are an extrovert to a very high degree. They enjoy socializing. They're very much into shopping, going to the mall. They like to be around people pretty much all the time, as much as they possibly can. They are the people who go into a very congested, crowded situation, and they feel energized by it. They can actually suffer anxiety and become irritable when they're isolated from people. If they're off on a secluded beach for a long period of time, even a couple of 3 days, where they're very alone, kind of a typical relaxing setting for a lot of people, they will actually find that to be a form of torment. They're fast-paced, they're extremely talkative. These are the people, and we've all seen them, who at a social gathering are the life of the party. They're center of attention at all times. They dominate conversations. They really enjoy being the center of attention. And as I said before, they find inactivity and isolation and being alone and seclusion to be very uncomfortable. They're very communicative. They're actually very good at communicating, and they're very warm and friendly and personable people. And by and large, they're optimistic and pretty upbeat. So basically, you can say about the sanguine is they want to be the center of attention and to dominate the conversation. They're prone to exaggerate, and they have very short attention spans. These are the kind of folks who can be in the middle of a particular project, get an opportunity to go out and do something, drop the project, and be gone and not even think about it. They're capable of taking on some pretty bad behavior. They're so needing to be a part of the group, to be accepted by the group, to be around people, that if they get hooked up with a bad crowd, so to speak, they can very easily adopt the negative behavior of that crowd. And one of the other things, and it's one of the weaknesses of the sanguine, is they're very hot-tempered. But their temper flares up and then dissipates very quickly. And so what they do is they have a tendency to become very angry with people, pitch a big old fit, and then within a few minutes literally have moved on and have forgotten about it, leaving the other person kind of in shock. And then they can't understand why that other person is still angry at them. They're like, well, that happened, an hour ago. Why are you still upset with me? So there's some basic insights into the sanguine temperament.